Please like, share, subscribe.
For 25 years, we've walked side by side, brothers forged in the Marine Corps. And when the call came, we chose to walk with God. This is our journey. Welcome to the Not of This World podcast.
You heard of doom scrolling?
Yeah, where you're just incessantly going through just crap, basically.
Well, I always thought doom scrolling meant you were actually scrolling like for negative news. And my wife said
No, I think doom scrolling, you're doomed to just be trapped.
Okay. I always took it as you're looking for negative things. And so we had this conversation the other day, and Nikki explained to me that, like, no, it's because you can't stop scrolling.
Yeah.
I don't know the truth. I mean, I don't want to look it up because, like, obviously our internet gets jacked up. But I'm not knowing that. I always, like, I would compare these, like, with these videos that they'd all be doom scrolling. Because, like, one of these first ladies goes off about how every time she goes to the grocery store, it's like a dystopian wasteland where people are just walking around lethargic just because they are so mad about the price of food, which I honestly resonate with.
I just got done grocery shopping, and I'm telling you, things are becoming so dystopian, and like things are changing. My husband and I are going to retire in a very rural part of Michigan. So we come up here to our little cabin a lot, and it's 70% went to Donald Trump. And the city itself is in the bottom 10%. Well, I should say top 10% for poverty. Anyway, it just felt so different. Everybody, I mean, the store was packed and everybody was moving so slow because, like, everybody was studying everything in shock. First, Meijer's, like so many grocery stores, was bombarding you with sale. And, you know, you stop getting excited about it because when you look at it, yeah, you can buy 2 bags of cheese and get a third one free, but it still comes out to almost $5 for 2 cups of cheese. I mean, I bought 1 tomato for $2.50, a tomato. And it was like that everywhere. A loaf of bread now, if you wanted organic, was you couldn't find one for less than $5, but it had sale all over it. And I felt like, because I've grocery shopped here before, people who voted for Donald Trump, and they wear it proudly here, would walk around happy and cocky, right? Like winners. We're winners, as Donald Trump says. Nope. This price gouging, this economy is the great equalizer, because we were all now in the same boat. And there was a lot of like sharing comments to each other, a lot of commentary between strangers, including with me. And then I noticed some Trump supporters, again, wearing their, like, you could tell from the tattoos and everything, they were so unhappy. Like that cockiness and happiness, they were so unhappy. And then checking out, like the workers there just were busy going from cash register to cash register, because everybody would be like, this is supposed to be on sale for this much, and it's coming up this much. And then they'd all have to explain all the fine print. And so it wasn't the deal they thought it was. And, well, I can't take this now. Like, they were constantly having to take products from customers who couldn't afford it. Like, this is bad. This is really bad. Let's see where this goes.
I go to the grocery store now, and I'm like, what? Like, I don't buy half the stuff I used to buy just because I'm like, I'm not paying $10 for something that I used to pay $1 for, $2 for.
Yeah. Like, there's ingredients. I get like the same vegetables at the store pretty regularly, mostly because my cooking skills are limited, but also our store is just small.
Mm-hmm.
And like a new cilantro for a bushel or whatever, it was like, we were hovering between like 89 to 99 cents. So I'll just call it $1. It's up to like $1.40, like a 40% increase. And I mean, like, yeah, 40% is a ton. Like, yeah, you look at 40 cents, it's not that much, but like gas here is like $5 a gallon. We didn't hit that with Biden dude. Like, we weren't even close to $5. We were like 450 max with Biden. Like, I think it was like after his first year in his term, and like all the that Keystone pipeline shutdown started to kind of take effect a bit.
Mhm.
That like this Iran stuff has just crushed our gas price. There's stickers of Trump on our gas pumps here, and this is like Trump country, so this says something. There's the pictures of Trump, and it says I did that, and it's pointing to the price tags on the pumps at
It's
the stations. You know,
there was Biden
it's
stickers all over
funny.
the
They used
place
to do
with
that with
that.
yeah, but I think it's funny because I just think that plays into the whole thing of like just it's us and them, and I laughed honestly anymore. I just laugh at people that are like Democrats are moving the ruining this country, and I laugh at the conservatives too just as hard when they talk about Democrat. I'm like, dude, you all are just retarded. Like, you all are just thinking like Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat the San Diego Chargers, blah 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 blah. It's just the most retarded crap. Like, it's all the same crap that keep us fighting each other.
Right.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's exactly what it is. Like, I mean, the grocery store prices too. It just I feel like they're gouging us too. It's like the grocery stores used to take their
Oh
lumps and
yeah,
like they barely get away with making profit because they were competitive against each other, and now they're all like, wait, we can
yeah.
make a bunch of money right now.
We just got our first order from Azure, Azure, and we're picking it up actually tomorrow. It's our first order, so it's like whole, like healthy stuff, organic, and like delivered. It's still the same price as like the junk at the store up here. So I'm like, well, and it's like for me, like I'm farming. Like I got two cherry trees so they can cross pollinate. I got in that field where I put the cherry trees because they're smaller, so obviously they're little still. To protect them, I put them in like my tuber garden. I got potatoes, onions, carrots. I'm only doing potatoes this year, but um, it'll be I'm gonna expand it a little bit later and like make the fence larger, and I'll add like carrots and more potatoes of other kind. I want them because they're like root cellar vegetables. They'll last a long time.
Right.
Like tomatoes and peppers and things are great, but frick, if you don't like can them right or make sauce out of them or whatever you're gonna do with them, like you can only get them for like maybe 2 months, like depending. Like jalapenos can kind of be okay for a while. Like I've had jalapenos in my fridge for like well over a month, and those are from the store too. So like who knows how long they took to get there. So I mean, we're already doing raw milk from a creamery that's like 35 minutes away. We don't really buy store milk unless I just run out and I haven't made it to the creamery, and I'll just buy a gallon. Like because all the
That's
microplastics in the
that's
jugs. I mean, there's just so much crap they're just trying to kill us with.
you're
It's
gonna knock
insane,
through
dude.
all the topics that of videos I had today, because like honestly
Well, it's just,
the
bro.
grocery store part.
I'm just like this. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's
Go
just the
ahead.
grocery store thing was like the first thing I was talking about, dystopia thing, and like she does go into Trump and
Yeah,
start blaming Trump for a lot of things, which is ironic. And then the next video was this guy talking about how he takes out his produce that's going like bad for them, and he's like, "I'll give it to the animals."
I find it very odd that I feed the deer in our backyard all the leftover vegetables that we have that are going bad. So at least it, can go to some good. They have not touched any of the food or vegetables that I've thrown in the backyard over the fence in the last week. I had to pick it up yesterday and actually throw it in the garbage um, because it was decayed at that point. Do you guys understand that if they're not eating vegetables, there's at least 20 of them that come by every morning and every night, and they stop in the backyard where our fire pit is, and they eat the grass and they eat the leaves off the trees. They have not touched a single vegetable. I have thrown carrots, I have thrown celery, I have thrown bell peppers. All of it was still there yesterday. This is scary. They are KILing us through everything, including our food. And mind you, this was organic vegetables. This is the stuff that costs an arm and a frickin' leg to purchase. This is getting scary, and I'm scared for myself and my child because I try to buy decent food with the little money that I have, and it's all riddled with chemicals. I mean, if wild animals are not eating our food, which they used to eat it up within no time, I mean, it would be gone, devoured, because I have to cut the grass back there, and I notice everything on the yard. I mean, in our property. You guys have seen the deer a million times. I've videoed them. You guys know my property, and you guys should know where I'm talking about, behind the fire pit, or behind the fence where the fire pit is. This is crazy. This is scary. When are we going to stand up? When is enough enough? When are we going to be done with the bullshit? With the bullshit. They want us gone, and that's end of story. There's nothing else we can say. There's no but, what, maybe this, that, you, if you think different. I'm sorry, I don't give a shit anymore. You're part of the problem. I feel so bad for my kid and her generation, who are going to be beyond measure with everything. Everything. And I can't work hard enough, long enough, 7 days a week in order to provide anything to give to her when I die. It's so sad.
Well, and that's the thing, like, so, and that's what I think's funny. Like, yeah, Trump's to blame for a lot of stuff, but like, don't look at like Biden and hold him up as a saint. A part of the stuff I really started getting really frustrated at with this glyphosate stuff. I just found out like the main mainstream, like Coors. I used to really like Coors, and they have like 10 different glyphosates found in their beers used to grow their wheats. And
Really?
then Trump with the like Make America Healthy Again crap. Like, I totally think like he's obviously just thrown in the towel with all of that stuff. He's probably compromised with Israel, is my opinion, because like he ran on all the stuff we wanted, and people are really waking up to this. Like, we're starting a war in Iran for Israel.
Everything is manipulated, and everything in our reality is a scam. From the banking system to the stock market to the version of history that we're taught. It's all one big giant Ponzi scheme. Social Security is not security. By the time you get back what you paid into it, inflation has already depreciated its value. Banks are not protecting your money either. Since 2020, banks have been allowed to keep 0% reserves on deposits, meaning they can loan out virtually all of your money. And the Federal Reserve is not federal at all. It's a private banking system that does not serve the public interest. The Federal Reserve has equity holders, and they are not American, just like many of the other central banks around the world. And even the language is manipulated. So a trust fund, the word trust does not mean the same thing to them as it does to us. You're told to trust people with your money who do not give a damn about you. Inflation statistics, unemployment statistics, and the economic data are all manipulated. The stock market, highly manipulated. Everything is a Ponzi scheme, except for if you or I ran it, we'd be in jail. But the interesting part is they do tell us the truth, and it's through fiction. Think about it, The Wizard of Oz and Rumpelstiltskin. These stories revolve around illusion, deception, and authority. So the witch rules through fear and control enforced by her flying monkeys who police the people. History itself is written by the victors, which means much of what we've learned in the school system is a manufactured narrative presented as facts.
I'm pretty sure like most Americans feel that way, at least the ones I interact with on social media or I see their stuff. And I know they have algorithms for things like, oh, you know, you build your profile around your things, and so we're going to throw you the stuff you want to be fed. But I have like 4 different Instagram profiles, and they have like nothing to do with each other. Like, one of them is for strictly homeschooling stuff, and there's a lot of like liberal Democrat stuff in there as well, because a lot of those people are like sick of the school systems and for different reasons. And then I have a fitness and health one, which has like a plethora of both conservatives and Republicans in it. Like meatheads at the gym and fitness people, like they come from all walks of life, and some are just not political, but like it's blowing up. Like, people are really starting to wake up to like who's really trying to pull the strings. And I don't think it's necessarily even like the Zionist agenda. I think there's something higher up than that. I think they're hoping that we just put the blame on them to like keep it away from like who probably really is pulling the strings. Because it's hard to blame, like, you know, a religious sect of people that has like, tens of millions of members across the world, and they're everywhere in the world too. They're not just like in Israel or wherever. And I, just to be clear, like for anyone listening, I don't like hate Jews. I don't even like hate people that are living in Israel or are pro-Israel. I just don't think my money needs to go there. I don't think we need to fight any of these stupid foreign wars. Like it's just getting really, really frustrating for Americans, because now we're talking about like, I don't know, just, did you see that thing with the military? Like our military is going to like give benefits to their military guys, and we're going to like start a co-military thing. Like it's crazy.
With Israel?
It's just absolutely nuts. What's that?
With Israel?
Yeah. They were talking at one point like how to give them our veterans benefits for their IDF soldiers. I don't know if that's going to go anywhere, but like you look at who's like supported by AIPAC in both houses of Congress. I mean, it's like 93% across the board for all of them that are like funded by AIPAC, which is just an Israeli like lobbying group. That's all it is. So there's all these agendas. There's all these things that are like trying to attack us. I mean, and you can look at and point the direction. It's all kind of to that same group. And I'm not saying it's the Zionist people. I think there's someone or group behind that, a small group behind that even. But all the crap you're seeing with like you'd mentioned a guy getting hurt. What country was that in? He got stabbed and the police let him bleed out.
Yeah, in the UK.
Yeah, and that's a real common thing. That's a real common thing. Like, so Scotland is a part of the UK. It's up north on the, north of England there, same island though. And there was this girl getting like followed by some sort of, I'm just going to say foreign, like looked foreign, didn't look European descent. And she got arrested or big trouble at least, because like this guy was harassing her, and she like pulled out like a hatchet, like a small hatchet, and was like brandishing it from a distance, like several steps away, like, yelling at him, and then trying to get like walking away, but then turning around and brandishing it like again in a way like threatening him, like quit following me kind of crap. And she's like not terribly old, like maybe 14, dude. Like not even like 17, 18, could have been like even an adult kind of thing. Like this is like a middle schooler, maybe like early high schooler being harassed by these immigrants. And this is all part of the plan, I think. They want this immigration stuff.
It has to be, because that's what Europe's dealing with right now, is all this immigration and laws changing. And it's like, I don't understand, like, because America's kind of, we were resistant to it because we changed presidents. And also we were like, dude, we can't let this happen. Like, I don't know if they just think we're complete idiots. I think that's the problem, is they think the average person is not smart.
I think that, but I also think they're starting to be like brazenly open with like what they are showing us that they're doing. So there's a couple things that come to mind when I say that. The first is something I heard a while back, and you look in the Epstein files, there's I can't remember the name of this chemical in the body. It's in your blood, but you only excrete it into your bloodstream when you're like under like fear of death. Endocrine or something like that. I can't remember what it is. And so these people, through the data and files of the Epstein stuff, were like putting like these kids that they were torturing on that island through like absolute torture, and then killing them, and then drinking that blood that had excreted that like stuff. And they said it savored, tasted better, and all that weird stuff. And this person I know like mentioned, the movie Monsters Inc. was kind of like just them brazenly kind of talking about that, because Disney and all those people are heavily tied into Epstein, I'm sure. Hollywood, we know definitively, is all those people have gone to Epstein Island. And so like this, the Monsters Inc.'s like scaring kids to create like power. It's like scaring kids to kill them, to drink their blood, to create it was like a drug to them. Whatever that, I forget the name of that chemical that it goes into your body. Yeah, it's something like that. I'll look it up and we'll throw it on here. But it's insane, like just thinking about that. And another one, someone just pointed this out. He's like, think about this. Remember all those like missing kids on the milk cartons? What if that was just those people bragging like to your face, like here, like a trophy, like here's another one that we took to the island or wherever we took them, or her or whatever. And I'm like, dude, that's whoa, like it's crazy to think
There,
about that.
there
And
is a lot of ties between the children being missing and satanic stuff. There's definitely this a
absolutely,
pastor named Troy Brewer out of Texas, and he's recovered. He helps like find kids all the time. And I don't know if you like. We haven't talked about the alien releasing of the files. I'm not trying to go down that avenue right this second, but there was a group of pastors that kind of got viral because they said that a group of pastors was shown a bunch of stuff about the UFOs and they want their churches to be ready. Well, like doing a deep dive into it, they had 2 meetings. The first meeting literally was about kids being trafficked, and it was literally swept under the rug. And my theory is that because when that news started coming out that they were going to talk about that stuff, they're like, "Ooh, don't talk about the kids. Don't talk about kids at all." Because like I don't understand how we can have a pilot that goes down in Iran and we have a heartbeat sensor that we can go find somebody and with all this technology to track people down and do whatever we need to, but a kid goes missing and it's like I don't know where they're at.
you got flock cameras coming in, you got AI data centers coming in, you got these kill switches coming into your vehicles, and you can't find. We have more slaves in our country today than we did at the peak of like slavery before abolition in 1865 or whatever. We have more people in slavery in America today.
Yeah, it's just
So
crazy.
we're a joke, dude. Like we publicized the education system a couple generations ago, and we were like top tier. Now we're like the laughing stock of the world. They want us dumb because we're the wealthiest nation, and they want to just be able to milk us dry from our tax money and play the voting blue or red game, just switching back and forth. Like it's just, and then nothing ever gets really fixed. My taxes still increase. I still get even worse service wherever I go with like anything with public works or services or government, anything. It's just an absolute joke. I don't hate my country, by the way. It's still the best country in the world. I'll fight anybody any day, all day long to say that. But I absolutely hate our government. It is absolutely corrupt. The problem is like they're all corrupt. They've all got central banking. They've all got the same like-minded demonic people behind the scenes pulling the strings, manipulating things, and the way they do it is padding the pockets of the leaders. Trump has flagrantly just said F it and done all kinds of things to just grow his financials this term. I think the last term he was in, he might have actually still wanted to try, but I wonder if the Epstein release stuff and the blocking of it like kind of showed like his cards there. And so it's getting blocked still. Nothing's going to happen. No one's going to go to jail for it, you know. But I'll go to trouble if I drive down the street with my tags expired on my car. I'll go to trouble, and if I don't show up to court or don't pay the ticket, I'll go to jail. You know, it's in or I own a house with unrealized gains on the appreciation of it, but I haven't sold it. And if I don't pay those taxes, like they'll take it.
People are struggling and people are dying and people are literally working their lives away to survive. And I don't know why, but it enrages me to see Met Gala. It's so tone deaf. It's so very capital Hunger Games. And I don't know why people are just like consuming this and not outraged. We, the people, have handed those billionaires their lives. And we're all just sitting here taking scraps and being grateful. And that's for Lulu. The collective population needs to rise. We need to start standing and revolting and fighting because it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. That people are smiling at these events, wearing their ridiculous, overpriced costumes, while everyone else just works their lives away to be able to pay their bills, not to actually live and enjoy life, but just to survive. This dystopian world is so broken. It's just, I just can't. I don't know. Have the day you deserve.
So I don't know. Well, it's just people are waking up to it. Like, like the things you're saying right now, it sounded crazy even maybe 8 years ago to some people. Or some people just didn't care. Like it was like, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you want. I'm gonna do my thing. And like I'm not saying people were selfish. It just was more, we were in it together, and it didn't really affect us because a few people thought weird things. But now it's like we are kind of looking at things a little bit differently, and you kind of want to have your guard up against people who think differently than you, because they're not, and for me, it's not a Christian way of looking at things. But when I see somebody dressed a certain way, their hair colors a certain way, I start acting a little bit differently than if I see a person dressed kind of like I dress. And it's not because I want to be rude. I'm actually just kind of being more aware of what I say around that person, and I want to be polite, and I don't want to make anybody mad. But I know the things that will make them mad, And just, it's exactly speaking that I see the truth in what's going on.
I had an Airbnb guest who was like, honestly, like one of the nicest people I've ever met. It was kind of interesting. She was really sweet. Like, she forgave us. My cleaners, like, so we have a loft in this. I'm sitting in the Airbnb now because we don't have a guest, obviously. But she came only like a couple weeks ago. And so the two lofts, and they have like a wall to kind of like obviously keep, it's a solid wall though, not just railing. And on the other side is like two twins. And so one is kind of really behind the entryway. Like, you have to like kind of like really be up high, or like just climb the little ladder and look in to see, did the bed get made or used or whatever? Do I need to clean it and make it again or whatever? Switch the sheets. So our cleaner, the last guest before the one I'm talking about, was like a single person. So we had just assumed a single person, and it wasn't. And then my cleaner didn't see an unmade bed in the kids' side, the kids' loft or whatever. And so this gal was like, "Hey, that's really unacceptable. It doesn't matter. Like, we're just going to leave it because we're only going to use one of the beds. We'll just use the other bed. But you need to know this." And I just owned it. Like, I'm like, "You're right. That is unacceptable. I'm so sorry. I can do something with that right now if you'd like. You want to come out real quick and I can take care of it. I'll change it myself or whatever you want me to do." She's like, "No, you're totally fine. And thanks for acknowledging like ownership of that. And you're totally fine." And I said, again, "I'm sorry, and let us know if we can do anything else." And it was okay for a few hours. Like, even like the next day, she was okay. She was here for a couple nights.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second night, she asked me a question about like fire pits and like if she could use one. I said, it's not fire season yet. I don't have a fire pit over there. She's like, "Oh, I have one." I said, "Well, that's totally fine. Yeah, if you want, I'll let you do one." You seem like someone that's competent, because we've had some really weirdos that'll like have these monster fires going in my fire pit I used to have out there. So I just took it out and moved it away. Because then we'll also have fire bans, like where you're not allowed to do fires at all, coming up probably in another month. We'll have that for another several months until like September, October. So I was like, "Totally go for it. I got wood for you, whatever you want." I'm playing catch up with her because I already screwed up really bad. That's a big deal. Otherwise, it was really good, I think. And she said, "Yeah, everything is really cute and everything you promised, so we're okay." But I still don't know, because I've had people like be nice like that, and then they'll slap me with like a really hard review. And the review system on Airbnb is like really upside down. Like, a negative review tanks you, and you can get like 20 good reviews, and it doesn't even move you an inch to the upward direction. Like, it sucks. So, anyways, long story short, she's kind of just like visiting with me outside the place here, and she's just really sweet and like, "Hey, do your kids want to like come over for like s'mores and stuff?" And so we just kind of, I wasn't really sure. I didn't want to turn her down, but it's a little different. Like, I've never had someone like make me a guest at their stay at my place like that. But I don't know. And she's just really sweet. So we all came over, and she met my wife, and she had two little kids that were kind of our little kids' ages, and we just visited, and they did s'mores together, and we visited with her while the kids played, and it was really good. And so, like, what I'm learning though, like what I'm getting at is what you were talking about, like seeing people like with their identities, like whether it's the hair color, and you can kind of tell like maybe politically what they're going to be. But like, I'm not really anything anymore. Like, I don't identify as like, I have like conservative values for sure. Like, but I don't call myself like a Republican necessarily anymore, because I think that party's like just crapped all over me and what I want them to do. They don't care,
Right.
So I was talking to her about like, our history. Like, I used to teach at the school, and I wanted my kids out of there because there was just like some kids that were like teaching my kids things that I don't think my kids needed to know. And I danced around the topic of like gender identity. And I only really said like, look, I just didn't think like that was like a pertinent topic for like whatever, like that age group. And she was like kind of like maybe I thought she was a little guard. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong too, but I thought she was a little guard when I first broached that subject. But then I eased into it saying, just at that age, like I'm not trying to say people like with things like that don't exist, and I might personally consider that weird, but I don't want to be in the world and like start. I'm kind of tired of like ostracizing myself from like a certain group of people or other group of people because I want to only do like my group of people, because I don't really feel like I have a group of people anymore politically. Like,
you know what I think's going on right now, and it's not just me, is everybody's going through their own spiritual awakenings. Like, you're sleeping like shit, you're waking up like almost every hour on the hour. You're feeling lost in life. The things that you used to like to do, you don't really want to do them anymore, which could cause like depression. Obviously, like the ears ringing, vivid dreams, crazy dreams. And then when you start losing interest in the things that you like to do or you love to do, you start questioning yourself. You're like, man, should I be doing something else? But then if you're like depressed, you don't really feel like doing anything, you know? And sometimes that's what it's there for, is to wake you up, because maybe you're on a path and now it's time to go do something else. And then other times it's just part of the spiritual awakening, you know? So surprise, they're not that fun, if anybody was wondering. And I don't know how many you can go through in life, but man, I swear this is like my 150th spiritual awakening, it feels like. Maybe not that many, but it feels like it.
or whatever this middle ground I feel like I'm in right now, or like basically I'm not even in any ground. I personally just think it's all bullcrap. So I don't really belong anywhere except for like whoever wants to join the Fed Up group. Like maybe that's where I'm at. I don't know. But it was cool because, sorry.
I think it's honestly people who have started to believe that our government isn't going to save us.
Yes.
That's what I don't think it's like you're tired of the people fighting with each other and realizing like we need to unite and stop fighting each other, and we need to like start showing that we need to remove our government in a way. Like, I'm not saying like forcefully, I'm saying like vote them out, like figure out ways to like have a different system and start showing changes, because like our government makes way too much money for them not to be making changes that could help everybody and start serving the things that could probably lower the level of like heat everyone has for each other, and just be like, you know, okay, you guys want this, like we're Americans, you're allowed to live how you want. Like, the government hasn't been changing things that change our lives too much, but we're being told that so many things that scare us on each side. Like, you know, Trump's done some things that I'm not happy about as well, and but Biden did some things too. But there's no reason that like during that time, I don't think a majority of people had things happen that like life was changing in a way that like maybe COVID, I don't know, but most things we could get through. And it used to be like nice because we were all united as a country, and you could just go on the street and, you know, people had your back because we're Americans. And it feels very different now. It feels like you just described like the football jersey and you're wearing a separate one, and like you're like, well, I'm not helping that person because they're the opposite team's fan. And it's but it's gone to the next level where it's like it's a gang war instead of being a football rivalry.
I also have to be careful too, like talking to people when they say they're like blue or red essentially or whatever. Like, let's just say that. I have to be careful too. Like, I find myself like, oh, honey, you haven't even woken up yet, because like you're not gonna help them by like shunning people. Same with like if you are red or if you are blue and you just ostracize or just demonize that other side. I don't think you're gonna actually like productively like have anything to do with that other side. But alone, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to keep losing. We're still losing. Like, we talked about this when I was on like months ago. The housing market versus pay is like 6 times the gap it was like 40 years ago when we were born or little kids. It's like what your wage was then has only grown a smidge, like 15%, or whatever, like whatever a sixth is of the price of a home now. Like, the home price has gone 6 times higher than the wages proportionate, including inflation. So it's like Yeah, it's insane, and people are getting really pissed off. And then you got companies like BlackRock and stuff. Charlie Kirk even mentioned like he would ban companies like that from being able to purchase like a certain amount, like up to a certain amount of homes. But even then, like even if they legislated that, I don't have enough hope that it would do anything. They're not going to relinquish it. They're just going to start like 1,000 shell companies, and each of them is just going to be able to hold just enough of those properties under that threshold. It's not going to change anything. They have these like limitless amounts of money. They're going to keep buying properties at overvalued prices. Keeping like first time American home buyers from actually ever owning anything. And honestly, if any listeners are listening about the home thing, never buy a new build either. Like they are atrociously built anymore. My wife's in real estate and she does like 60 some odd closings of like homes. Many of them are new builds. And it just seems like a lot of them are just trash. Like the materials they're using, the materials offered at like Home Depot and Lowe's and stuff. It's not even like the builder's fault. Like I'm not even faulting the builder. It's the materials and construction costs. They're just trying to save it to make, I get it, like to make the home affordable. But dude, it's like insane right now. And those handymen, blue collar dudes, no one wants to do that work. And so they can make so much money and they can demand it from their bosses. Um, like I just paid a handyman like several $100s to hook up a water system. Like it wasn't terribly complex, but you know what? I really like him, and I have the money I can pay him. But I did think, man, that was quite a bit of money to do that. It's like
Right.
blue collar needs to be a thing people are looking at because you could just own it, especially in a small town when there's like you're the only one that does like let's say plumbing.
Mhm.
You don't have any competition. Like whereas if you live in like a big valley with hundreds of thousands of people. But dude, this
What
world is
was
going to be
what was
crazy.
the
The
follow
red
up with the
versus
Airbnb
blue.
thing though? What was your follow up with
Well,
that?
I
Because
just
like
was
you,
like, well, what I meant was like I just didn't want to like get into it anymore. Like normally I would have just been me. I don't, like I would have just been like, that's I don't want that stuff and stuff. But I'm learning to like not be so like abrasive. And it's not that I'm not standing for what I believe in. I just don't think like with no relationship there with a new person I've just met, guest of mine or not, or just someone I met on the sidewalk, just walking down the road. There's no reason to like get into it like that hardcore. Like dance it more delicately. Build like something meaningful with the person. Have a good interaction with them. Compliment them on things. Talk to them about things. I'm not saying like, you know, don't share Jesus or don't share your views of whatever else. Your views should be based on Jesus, first of all. But I'm just saying, like, do it a little more slow and methodically. Don't just like be out there loud and proud because that just ostracizes people that aren't going to see your way. And it will gravitate people that do see your way and they will admire like your boldness. And there's a time for that, but I don't think it's like all the time.
yeah, I don't know. I didn't know where you were gonna leave with that because I was like, I've had some instances like that recently where I've had family or friends talk about stuff that's political, and I'm not tippy toeing about around any of it. I just start to say I don't have an opinion anymore. I don't have skin in the
Yeah.
game. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I don't. I do care, but I don't have anything attached to either side anymore. And like that's my gateway or my opportunity to be like, I do believe in Jesus though. And they're like, some people roll their eyes, but I'm like, but I'm not sitting here crying and worrying about things anymore. I
No,
mean, I'm
I'm not.
aware, I'm prepared, but I'm not
Yeah.
scared. I mean, a
I have
majority
a
of the video
friend
I had
who
set for you
recommended a
today was that.
well, and I have a friend who recommended a cool book to me. I started it on audiobook, but I'm not a real audiobook kind of dude. So like I'm gonna get the hard copy and read it. Um it's basically a post-apocalyptic book, but it's more about like an EMP strike versus like nuclear fallout kind of stuff. So like the population would remain, but like most vehicles would be unusable because EMPs apparently like knock out certain components of most modern vehicles with the computerization of them. Like you need like 80s Ford kind of pickups or whatever brand American pickups that didn't have like a lot of computer chips and like older type stuff like 70s for sure and older kind of stuff. And so it's funny they have those kill switches, right? That they did roll out with in our modern day real life that they're going to do starting this year when they come out with the 2027 models. And now you're seeing on social media that there's junkyards ablaze across the country where people would go to salvage parts for those old vehicles. But in this book, this novel, it's about an EMP strike. But in the introduction, Newt Gingrich, who was like a federal staffer at the White House, I forget what level, like what he was, like not maybe Secretary of State, I can't remember, but he was like way up there and like rubbed shoulders with like I think Clinton or Bush, I can't remember, a couple decades ago. And I mean, knew everything. And he did the introduction to this book. And he's like, look, this is a novel. It's like fiction. But like, honestly, like a lot of this, you really need to pay attention to because it's going to correlate to like the potential like outlook of America, a very strong potential for America in the near future. Something like that. And I was like, yo, that's pretty crazy. And it's a 4-part series. I'm barely into it. I don't like it though, in a way, because it's like, it's kind of like dark and stuff. And like, you know, people turn on each other, like a lot of the video games, like The Last of Us or those zombie TV shows, you know, the survivors, and it's just rugged, and everyone's like kind of like just out for number one or their own little clan that they've put together. Everyone else, like that's a survivor, could be a threat because the resources become extremely limited. But I don't like those because like I've already decided like God's my source, and like, you know, if I don't survive, like I just don't survive. I don't want to be tortured, but I don't think that's going to be a thing. Hopefully, back in that kind of a scenario, you know, you're just gonna like, I'm in your way. You want my resources? Okay, just I guess we'll fight for it and kill me. Fine. Like, you know, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to go after other people for their resources just so I can survive with my family because I wasn't as prepared or as smart. Because that's demonic. Like, you know, we're supposed to love one another, and it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't say like quantify like, but in a nuclear apocalypse or whatever, it's okay not to. Like, it doesn't say that. So I don't know. Like, for me, being prepared is like getting off grid, getting independent, getting out of the public school system, eating healthy, being physically active, getting sunshine. I don't know. That's just me. So I'm really getting into farming here because I don't want to be eating all these like GMOs, and I want to have like a food source too if it hits the fan.
I don't think you're the only person thinking that way, dude. I've honestly been talking about growing a garden in my backyard. Haven't acted on it yet, but I've been thinking about that too, just because everything we eat now, even like if you go out to eat versus eating at a restaurant, I'm sorry, you go out to eat versus eating at home, it's almost the same exact cost now. Used to be you can buy groceries and you get, you know, a third of the price just to go get your own stuff and make stuff, and now it's almost equal too. And the food quality at restaurants has gone down too. So you can't win.
Do you want to know how many generations it takes to forget something?
1, 2,
One. No, one.
1.
Think about us, like, yeah, think about us, like with our stuff that we had, like a rotary phone. Okay, like you might have seen one. We had one in my parents' kitchen for a little while as a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how to do it, right? Like a rotary phone. There was this person like showing their kids, like, if you can call me on this phone in 1 minute, I will give you $100 each. And it was like a guy with like his 3 like teenage kids. And they're all like trying to figure out like how to do it. And he's like, here's the number, go. And okay, timer's going. They couldn't figure out how to like do it quite. And they kind of started getting it, but it took a little while too. You got to dial 7 numbers, it took a minute. They finally got it, but it was too late. And they missed out. Like, dude, that's crazy. What is this? And it's a rotary phone. But they don't even know how to do it. And that wasn't even a big thing in our generation, but like we saw the last end of it maybe. But think about like with your comment with gardening. I think grass in your yard was a flex in like ancient, like, or not ancient, but like older, a couple hundred years ago, like France, like those gardens, and they'd put lawns in them and stuff in England.
Mm-hmm.
But also like they started pushing that like on the American society, like post World War II. And they did that, I think, because they didn't want us like growing stuff that helped us. Like, you got weed killer that kills dandelions. Dandelions like can cure your pain, like ailments, physical pain of your body. It's like a nature's aspirin. You can like use the roots and the leaves for that. You can use the flower and boil just the yellow of the flower into like a tea, and then mix a little bit of like syrup or like a natural like sugar in it, and make like syrups and honeys out of it. And it tastes really good, actually. Honestly, it grows in my yard, so I stopped. Yeah.
My wife bought a ton of the all that natural remedy stuff way back in the day, and I kept just thinking she's like a hippie. And the more I learned about it, the more I'm like, holy, like this actually stuff does work. Because she'll like look up certain things and she'll get like essential oils, and she'll look up certain things and then she'll mix something together and then she'll rub it on our kid's stomach when their stomach hurt, or she'd do this and she's like, what's going on? She'd just look up the recipe and she start mixing things together. And placebo, if it works, I don't know, but majority of the time, that stuff worked, dude. It was actually like really impressive.
And there is like for placebo, there like obviously there's science for that, but I think that's faith. Like honestly, like when you look at what faith is, it's believing that like something as you don't see it. That's just faith.
I thought you said fake. I was like, that's exactly what placebo is.
Oh, faith.
But now I heard you though. After that, I was like,
Yeah,
I heard
placebo
you
is just a faith. It's blind faith. It's like this will cure your cancer, and if like a doctor with like degrees like really convinced grandma of that, she'd probably like get cured. Like I wouldn't be shocked. It doesn't shock me at all. You know, like, and that it's not like the best faith is obviously like in Jesus. And there's like get help books that aren't like around religion, but it's like, you know, I just believed I could and I did. And that's like just a step below in my opinion. Like there's that higher power, or there's like the book and the movie called The Secret, which is like putting thoughts of positivity out to the universe. Some of the people on that, like the documentary part of that, talked about like God specific, which I was appreciative of. Like obviously like this is what our whole purpose of this podcast is. But like even if like a person that's more agnostic, that doesn't want to like acknowledge like Jesus or God, but if I can like help like sow a seed to make their life better, I'll talk to them like in the terms of like universe or like an all father or creator of whatever kind. Like Native Americans use the word creator. They're not necessarily agnostic or anything though. They believe in like God. They just call him the creator. At least the Indians I interacted with, like the Hopi and Navajo and some Yavapai up in northern Arizona. But he's up there, you know, and like it's in the Bible, like it's in his word, like seek and you shall find. There's all kinds of scriptures we could throw in here, but I don't know. To me, like going into the apocalypse or all the political crap happening, like open borders and all the heinous things happening with immigration or like violent migrants or whatever, all of that stuff. It's all design. It's all by design. Like, and I'm actually really excited. Like, I'm really excited to see people seeing it, because I really think, especially data centers, like, holy cow, conservatives and Democrats have like so united in Utah against, who's that Shark Tank guy that's trying to put that in? Mr. Wonderful. What's his name?
I don't know his name.
Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Leary is like on social media talking, bitching about like all these guys in Utah getting together and like shutting him down on his like huge data center, dude. They are like getting crazy on him, and it's awesome. It's awesome to see that. Conservatives and Democrats in Idaho, there was talk that our state senators were going to relinquish like tens of thousands of wilderness dedicated like lands to the, you know, private sale of whoever could buy it. And it was awesome to watch. Like, all right, we're putting our differences aside, pro Trump, pro Biden, we don't care. Like, all it is like we are not selling that land. And it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And I think we're going to see more of this stuff with flock cameras.
So I'm at 7-Eleven waiting for my fiance who's inside getting a drink, and this thing just told me to not loiter.
Feels like it.
Robots at Kroger. So I'm here at Kroger and I finally noticed that they added robots. Let's take a look. Oh, hey, what's up, dog? Take a look at that. How you doing? Hi, I'm Tally. Oh, look. Hi, Tally. You are a check self-inventory. How are you? Very cool. You can go. Here. It's scanning me. Come on, Tally. Come on. There we go. See, he's having a good time. Well, she is actually. I'm assuming checking the inventory. Very nice. So, very cool. That is a robot at Kroger. So that's where we're starting. Take a look at that.
That's becoming a thing. Like somewhere like 2 hours from here, near the Oregon border, I think it's like Caldwell, which is like past Nampa, like way past Boise from where I'm at. Really going east, south, west Idaho. There's like a flock camera thing they're talking about. And, you know, they sell we can protect you and keep you safe and we'll help with trafficking. I'm like, dude, we already have the technology to stop trafficking. You know, like you were talking about, like a downed pilot's heartbeat tracker in freaking Iran in the mountains of like middle of nowhere. We got him. He's safe and good. Like, that's great. We could stop trafficking in a heartbeat. Like, it's not that big a deal. Like, they don't want to, dude. They don't want to.
What's a flock camera?
It's like a series of like cameras that like are just like tracking all the vehicles, their plates, facial recognition, if they can get in and get the angles. It's a flock, like a ton of them. And so you got all of them and they're pointing and they look and they're looking at like, okay, one will catch plates, one will catch speeds, one will catch vehicle makes, models. They're running data on it. Like, is the owner driving? Is the owner of the vehicle, like eventually I could see this. They're going to see your face and are you the owner of that vehicle? Like, are you authorized? And they're going to try to sell this and be like, we could catch people with stolen vehicles. I'm like, dude, you could put trackers in each vehicle. Right. You could do that now. And then be like, hey, this vehicle got stolen. Pull up the VIN, track it, shut it down. You can, well, not shut it down. We don't have the kill switches yet, but like you could send the cops after it with a tracker if you were worried about stolen vehicles or kidnappings in a vehicle.
It's not what we asked for, but it's what we're getting. If you don't realize this yet, the digital ID surveillance structure is completely being rolled out and is happening fast, like right now. Starmer mentioned it last year that if you don't have digital ID, you're not going to have a job.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
And now King Charles is talking about how they're rolling out the digital ID system.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
And this meeting with Xi Jinping is not a coincidence. Trump brought all his tech bros with him, and they are installing this overarching surveillance system for the world. And all these countries that seem to be at odds with one another, they're not. Most of these countries are working together, even though they look like they're opposing each other. And the only countries that are really opposing this entire system are those that have a rule of law based on religion. Countries like Iran. And so those are the countries that are going to be resisting this the most, of course, because they believe that the rule comes from a higher power, not from the governing body. And if you don't want to participate in this system, I honestly think it's too late. Like, you've been a part of digital ID for years. Every time you unlocked your phone, every time you did a Google search, every time you left the country, every single thing that you've done that involves technology has involved a surveillance component for years and years and years. And so all of the information that these systems need to understand who you are and what you look like are already fully constructed. It's pretty obvious if you just look at all the data centers they're building that they're clearly not for just processing our AI transactions. You know, like, there is a clear focus. We're going to be the AI capital of the world. We're going to be the surveillance capital of the world. And it's going to be headquartered out of DC under the ballroom. This is the advancement towards a one world government. This is going exactly to plan. And you had to be a conspiracy theorist to believe that this was happening a number of years ago. And now you have to be a conspiracy theorist to think that it's going to work out okay. And actually, as a conspiracy theorist, self-proclaimed, I believe there is a path where this actually works out. But it requires you to think like a complete crazy person to believe that to be true. So I'll be happy to go down that rabbit hole with you in another video here later. But in the meantime, you have to start asking yourself the question, what am I willing to accept? And what am I willing to fight for?
I do have a theory about how they're going to get us to convert on some of these things. When I went to, you know, when you get a new iPhone and you have to like hold up to your face if you want to use the facial recognition, and you do like 20 different angles over and over again. We went to England for vacation last summer, and they use the photo stuff there. And so before you go there, you have to submit. It's the same exact process of like all over your face, so they can pattern your face and see what your face looks like, so they can recognize you. And I think what's going to happen in the future is that like we're going to start having some AI technology come out where like we're already having a hard time discerning between what's AI and what's not. You can kind of tell a lot of times when it's AI still, but there's some stuff that you can't tell. And I think that there's going to be some stuff where you're going to really get tricked, and they're going to be like, you know, if you really want to be safe, submit this digital ID so we can pattern your face and know all your, ins and outs and intricacies, so that we can tell it's you versus someone using an AI version of you to keep yourself safe. And when people hear there's safety in it, they'll say, okay, yeah, I'll do it.
That's the only way. That's the only way they sell it, dude. 9/11. I mean, 9/11 was, I don't know, obviously an inside job, but that was just a catalyst for other things. Like people think, oh, it was for this, that, or the other, but it was really just to push the Patriot Act and then to start a war in multiple countries we had no business in being a part of. It was a really successful campaign for the real purposes they intended it to be. Like they did a phenomenal job with that. We were all duped. Like we were all most of us were all too stupid. I'm late to the party. I am 25 years late to that party, and I was barely 15, I think.
This is the wall that we're talking about with people who are like on the left and the right and then the middle. Because what you're saying to me right now does not, like, I'm not like, oh, okay, I disagree with you. I'm like, yeah, the evidence is pretty damning when you start to look at everything that happened in that time. And I was hook, line, and sinker. I was all in.
Yeah, I was too. Like, I was all proud of my country. I was proud of my friends that graduated a couple years before me that were 03. They started sending them out to Iraq. I graduated. That was my start of my senior year. So I had a bunch of buddies that were a year or two older than me that had just graduated a bit before me, and a bunch of them were in the Marines. My wife had some really good friends. They were really awesome. They were brothers. I mentioned this in one of the previous podcasts, and they killed themselves. Suicide from the PTSD crap they saw when they got sent over. Like, we have no business being over there, and it's ungodly that we just allow these things. That's the thing I want most people to listen to tonight is, I'm not saying to go get rowdy and start like just tearing stuff up or whatever and get arrested or any of that stuff. But you just need to start paying attention and really like cross-referencing like the Bible versus like your plans for like what you're going to do and how you're going to be as a person, and who you're going to like put your strength in, your faith in. Like, are you going to do it in the strength of men? Like with all the guns you tuck away or all the food storage you tuck away or that cool cabin you set up to like sneak away to when it hits. And those aren't bad things. I'm not saying don't do that or don't think about some sort of a plan. I'm not saying that. I am saying don't put that as like your faith. That's just an action of your faith. Maybe your faith needs to be in God. And then when and if these things start to happen, or as it gets worse, like, I dare you listeners to actually just be a better beacon of light. Like, be even happier, be even more giving, more joyful, more smiling, more positive in everything. Be more outspoken about the Bible. Find verses, use them like a weapon. Know them intimately that you can just speak them memorized and where they are and give them verbally to people. Because faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. I don't know that scripture, but that's it, word for word. And it's in the New Testament. And that's what we need to start doing is just, we need to stop worrying too. Like, there is so much science behind like the faith versus fear and what happens to the cortisol levels of the body, the vascular system, your heart rate, your nervous system. Like, it's insane. Just, I don't know. I was really twisted up pretty tight, like at certain jobs, because they were really stressful. And going back, like if could go back to those jobs, like I would be a different person because I've grown in the Lord like a ton. I have a long ways to go for sure. But I was starting pretty low though, in my opinion. I had a lot to learn and have learned a lot and have a lot to go. Like I would be very different at some of those jobs where like they were really not good environments. Just in a lot of different ways, they were not good environments. Like not just the work we did, but the people we were around or the people we worked with or served as customers or whatever. The communities I was working in. I would be a lot different person. I'd be super cheery regardless. Like I just, you don't see the job as your source. Those people mean nothing. Like they're just people. And you got to realize too, like, I believe this phrase of hurting people hurt people. So like when people are hurting internally, it just kind of like starts spilling out. Unless you have Jesus, it's okay to be hurting. It's just how are you going about it, the world and interacting towards others while you're trying to process that pain. It's okay to feel pain. I don't want people to feel like when you believe in Jesus, like everything's just like sunshine and rainbows and I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. Like it's not always nice. Like it's not always sunshine and fun and easy. It's actually, I think it's harder.
That's kind of one of the things that we've gotten this conversation was
Hey y'all, hey. I just left my doctor's office and I gotta be honest. Ever since my breakdown and the pandemic, I can't see the world the same. I can't interact with the world the same. And we've been trying to figure out how I should navigate the world. Trying to manage my symptoms. I'm literally allergic to this society. I have no desire to participate. And I literally don't have the energy to do anything because all my energy is wrapped up in just trying to survive. I don't care about the things that we were told we should care about. I don't give about none of it. You feel me? Like, now that I see through the veil and I understand now what has happened to us and what we're doing, like I feel like conspiracy theorists and, woke people, whatever you want to call it, it's just another way for them to keep us controlled, right? Like I remember having these thoughts and like pushing them down because I wasn't comfortable sharing them because it went against everything that was normal in society. But they came from somewhere, right? Like, why am I having these thoughts? Why am I feeling this way? This shit is not natural. We're not living in a natural way. And balance is about to be restored because everybody that sees through the veil and all the shit that's happening is waking up. We're waking up and starting to question shit. Like, we're literally like a big ass human experiment. They keep doing shit, knowing the impact it will have on our subconscious mind and our behaviors and our belief system. They know how this shit works. Why didn't they teach us this shit in school? Because they don't want us to know. They want to control us. And we're out here thinking we're free and we're making choices. No, is it really a choice if they give you the things to choose from? Are you really free? Like that shit blows my mind. I have no interest, and I look at people like, get the f out of my face. Like I literally don't have the energy to do anything else. My brain and all the stuff I was doing before, that shit, it's just, it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. After my breakdown, or before my breakdown, when things started crumbling around me and things were falling apart, I was like, what the f is going on? The biggest catalyst for me was when my job, when I got sick from working from home, I ended up having pulmonary embolism. I was hospitalized for like 3 days. And shortly after, my job started phasing people back into the office, just during the pandemic. My doctors suggesting that I do not go back into the office out of fear of getting exposed to COVID because I'm still recovering from my lung condition. When my job pushed back and basically said, we don't care that you were just hospitalized, you still got to come into the office. Mind you, I was working from home for over 2 years, doing my job efficiently. My direct supervisor approved the fact that I can still continue work from home, but they wanted to push back and basically said they didn't give a if I died or not. Because if my doctors are saying that I have a lung condition that can possibly cause complications and death if I get exposed to COVID, why would you demand that I come back into the office? And this is the shit I'm talking about, like the things that they think they have control over. They think that they should be able to make decisions like that for your life. Like, you just proved to me that you don't give a f about me. And that shit hit hard, yo. I was like, what? And then the fight began after that. Like, after that, everything's changed for me. Everything changed for me. I was like, I can't. What the f? I'm not doing it. I started saying no. I was like, I don't care. And I filed civil rights complaints. I went up to HR. I filed a federal lawsuit. Like, all the things, exhausted all my resources trying to fight my case. And even was during this time, the process, I'm being told that you're up against a Goliath. I'm like, then call me David, yo. What the f? You know what I mean? Like, don't try to make this shit okay. Don't try to humble me and tell me to stand down because you're not going to be able to do and for system. Because at the end of the day, this is my life. And if I am not here, you're going to move the phone. So I have to prioritize myself. And I don't even know what that looks like because I've never had to do that before. Well, not had to, but I should have. But I've never done it before, right? I've always been dependent on external things for everything. And everything came to light. Everything started unraveling. And I was forced to face myself. So I'm grateful for all the things that I went through. Don't get me wrong. But it exposed so much that I can't function in society anymore. I can't function under these rules, these systems, none of it. I can't. And I'm not going to be forced to. I literally don't give a fuck what the consequences are. Because death at this point is not a threat. That's not a threat. That's something I gladly welcome at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I return to whatever. Like, this body can go to hell because it's been programmed by somebody else. It hasn't been programmed by me. So I'm now trying to figure out how my body works, understand who I am, and connect with whatever that I'm supposed to have been connected to. And I look around and there's nothing in this society that supports this. I don't want no parts of it. I'm over it. And I just left my doctor's office and we're constantly talking about like how to help me recover from the shit that I went through. And they slap a label on you when you start waking up. You know, they give you some mental health disorder or some kind of, whatever, label you crazy because you no longer, like, I'm literally allergic. You can no longer function in this society. I don't want to work for nobody because I realize they don't give a f about me just to make money to pay for shit that y'all made up, that y'all are stealing from the earth anyway. Like, all this shit is made from natural resources. Everything. Every single thing that you see, that you use, everything, this car, this phone, your spoon, everything. They figure out how to use natural resources to create something. And then you invent money and then exploit people to make the money to buy the thing that you use natural resources to create. Why are we not just sharing and evolving as a society? If I create something from natural resources that we all can benefit from, why would I not just share it? None of this shit makes sense, and nobody's been questioning it, and now we're all sitting here watching this shit crumble. But hey, it's America for you, right?
Seeing some of the people in my life that are Democrats, like they're scared right now. Like, they really do believe that the same way, like I said with Biden being in office, like I was getting really nervous about the things I was seeing on the news versus like what I was actually feeling. Like, I mean, the grocery prices have been kind of the same. I think that's kind of a wash for both parties. I think we still are dealing with the ramifications of what happened during COVID to our economy, and we're placing all the blame on whoever's in office. Now you get the blame for everything. The way it always works, where that's just how it goes. Whoever's in office takes the blame for no matter what the presidents did prior to that. And I see that they're scared, but they're genuinely scared. And just all this talks about aliens recently. I've seen people freak out about that too, and it's something that I was getting caught up in with so much and trying to pay attention to politics because I wanted to make an educated decision, thinking my vote matters. I'm not saying my vote doesn't matter, but it only counts as one vote, and I could spend 365 days worrying about it for 4 years, and it won't make a single bit of difference unless I go out and do something different in the world. So that's what I want to change, is like start to talk to these people and just be like, if you see me looking like I'm not scared anymore, like it's because I've changed, but it wasn't because I voted a certain way. It's because I put my faith where it needs to be, and that's in God alone. And it's just a piece with that comes with that. You won't understand it. It's just crazy. And like I don't have it all the time. Like I'm not trying to like sell you guys a short or you, Trevor. Like I got it all together all the time. I still get anxiety. I still get stressed out. I still have these things happen. But when I reach a point where in the past it would start to take over with the cortisol, like you're talking, and it starts to consume you, that's when I start to go, okay, I need to stop, first of all, and make sure I'm reading my Bible at least 3 or 4 times a week, if not more, and start to pray daily more often than I'm watching a news article or watching a YouTube video, and take some of that time I was watching videos in and start praying and start talking to God, because you're going to find He's like the best therapist ever.
Yeah, for sure. He'll speak to you too. Like he will literally speak to you. He will put thoughts into your heart and mind. Some of the most impactful ways I just definitively came to like a decision when I was praying about something to decide something was just like an overwhelming feeling of just like knowing without knowing. It's hard to describe. One of them was when I stepped foot at the university I was going to go to. I didn't know I was going to go there. It was like 4 months after application deadlines. And we stepped foot on like my first step on the ground of that place. I got stuck halfway out of the car. I was just overwhelmed, just like not even like a vision, like I saw it, but I just felt like you're going to go here. It was like a feeling of imminent knowing I was going to be a student there and soon, not like so far down the road. We came to Garden Valley. Like I've been here 100 times, it feels like, mostly passing through to camp just past here when I was a kid living in Boise. I'd been here even kind of recently as an adult, visiting here and there occasionally. And then Kelsey and I came on a trip here, and we had our oldest was all we had, and he was with my parents for the night. And we, on a whim, like just stopped in at a hotel and like grabbed it. They had a room open. We grabbed it, and it was just a super cute little place. Honestly, you want to hear how crazy that is? It is like a block from where I live now.
Yeah.
I kid you not. It is like 5 properties down the street around the corner.
And how much?
If you ever come visit, Steven,
how much was the
housing? Okay, so our house should have sold for like $250 to us, maybe even more.
Mm-hmm.
It appraised for like $225,000. We bought it for like $190. It was a pocket listing, basically, where the seller we were on a local Facebook page, and my wife threw out like, hey, if anyone's like looking to sell in the spring, but you want to sell a little early, like we'd be interested. A few people hit us up. They were like, like just not something we were interested in. One person hit us up and sent us her like Airbnb listing pictures. Mm-hmm. And dude, she needed work. I can show you the before and afters, like at some point, like it needed work, like not a ton of stuff, just cosmetic stuff. And she's like, yeah, I want like 190 for it. And like, we're like, oh, this actually could be pretty cool. We came in and checked it out, and it was like, it was a snowbird cabin. So it was like all dusty. They hadn't been in here since, this is like January. And they hadn't been in since like that fall. It was like kind of dusty, and it's cold because they winterized it, because, didn't need to keep the heat on. So they winterized it so the pipes wouldn't freeze. We checked it out. I was like, man, it's really cute. It's got this really big open concept. It's like wood everywhere. It's so pretty. It smelled like wood. I love traveling because when I come home, my house has the wood smell again. I've since become used to it. I'm like, I don't smell it. But if I'm gone for like a week or more and I come home, I can smell it again for like a day and then I get used to it again. But dude, like our appraiser, to make sure obviously it would be a valuable loan for the bank, like enough to want to lend on, they stopped pushing those numbers after a certain point. They don't chase like a high number. They just need to hit the number of the bank that you need for the bank to say, okay, yeah, we'll lend on it. There's enough equity for us to like recoup our money, you know, obviously if you default. And they stopped crunching it at like 225. But I honestly think when we bought in 2019, it was probably worth like 250 to maybe 275, possibly. It's well over like 500 now, probably pushing 6 because of the market. But we were already kind of had seen some hot markets in the Boise area, which where we are is only an hour away, like maybe 30 miles as the crow flies or less. So a lot of Boise market really affects us here. You'll get a lot of folks that are like Boise people basically that like either want a second cabin or they're going to move up here and do the commuting thing. And they're pretty much Boiseans, you know, they just want to be able to weekend warrior, like live where they want to be. And I get that. That's totally cool. So yeah, like we got it. Like we got a steal. Like, let's just say, I don't say that necessarily. Dude, this is God. Like on that vacation before we were looking to buy, we just stayed at that hotel and we just felt like, man, we'll be here. But it was weird because we felt like, man, our kids would be like maybe middle school, like 10 years down the road. Leland, our oldest, was only like a year old at this point. He's like 11. He'll be 11 here soon. He just like opened doors and like few months later, maybe a year later, we were like seriously shopping with like a pre-approval letter from the bank already. Like that's how fast he moved for us. It was amazing. Like I'll never forget that till the day I die.
But after COVID, like I looked at prices of houses where you lived at, and it's I mean, even where I live, everything's just crazy nowadays.
Yeah, I forgot you were looking at moving because of COVID. Yeah, they were already up there, but yeah, COVID for sure affected it, especially where we were because people were like, well, our school was on the news for not having masks, not having any vaccine crap. I don't even think the vaccine was out yet in the fall of 2020 just yet, maybe. We weren't going to do like alternating days, like, you know, Johnny can come Monday and Tuesday, and then he has to be online the other 2 days of the week or whatever. We didn't do any of that. All we did was say, hey, look, if you don't want to be in person, we'll live stream it home to you, and you guys can catch it at home. But your work and all that crap still has to be done. And I only had like one kid do it my first year, and then we quit doing it the next year. So we didn't do any distance. We tried to keep distance, but we never even had like the solid 6-foot rule crap. It just wouldn't have worked here. It's a small school, and it's like a K through 12.
Talking about being scared of stuff. I swear, I just was watching a news clip today, and there's more being exposed about what happened with COVID and how these vaccines and people who took the boosters, how it made people more sick. Like you got COVID more times if you took the vaccines, and then also the heart condition you get from taking the vaccine. It affected all young kids, and they're showing the numbers of it, and they said it was still a necessary like thing to help people, but the kids that are dying from these heart attacks didn't need to take it. I can't even imagine, like, when you're talking about your high school, like, having these things where they're on the news for this stuff, and, like, I don't know. The vaccine's something else, like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore because of so much things I've heard that are going to happen with people who've taken this vaccine, that it's a really sad thing that I don't even want to talk about it. Because I feel like it's really,
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's sad.
Well, what frustrates me the most was how demonizing one party was about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like literally policing. There was all those stories of like certain towns where like you can't do gatherings for your Thanksgiving, and some people would like flagrantly disobey, and neighbors would like call them in. I'm like, what the heck, man? Let them get caught on their own. Like, you know, like you're not doing anything. Like it had like less than a 1% kill rate. Honestly, too, like I don't probably put this out on the video. But like you're looking at like going back to that like boomers versus like millennials and Gen X and like how people can't afford homes. I saw this guy like talk about like they were talking about the housing thing. It was like just a social media post like on Instagram. And he's like, man, I almost wish COVID was really bad and really did take all the old people. We'd have a lot of the good jobs that they sit at the top of the food chain at their jobs, and all their houses would be available. I
I
was
will
like,
say,
it's funny because it's horrible.
I had this thought today about that though. Is like the people who are wearing masks still, and the people who I see driving in cars by themselves and they're wearing a mask, or they're walking by themselves and wear a mask. And like for the longest time, I'm like, man, these people really have gotten, they got their hooks into them, and they basically believe like they're not even taking their masks off anymore. But if you think about it
Yeah.
though, if like say you took the vaccine and all the boosters and you kept on getting COVID, how mad would you be if you're like, dude, I've taken all these things, I still keep getting sick, and like
Yeah.
I would imagine if you did all those things, you'd be like, I'm not stopping to wear a mask because I just keep getting sick.
Well, and dude, like we're pregnant with our fourth, and it's gonna be our last. Even like when we had our son almost 3 years ago, our 2.5-year-old, we weren't really sure with vaccines. Like we definitely weren't gonna do the COVID one. But even since his birth to today, we've had more time to like look into just the generic vaccines, and like I gotta say, I don't know what we're gonna do with the vaccines yet. I'm not saying we are or aren't. Like just even like the measles and ones, like the tetanus one, I found out like to get tetanus is like such a high improbability to get. It's like, and the aluminums and heavy metals they put into them. It's the same with like tattoos. Like I don't have any tattoos, and I'm not against them. I mean, I just grew up Mormon, and they don't. When we were kids, like tattoos are a little more accepted in Mormon culture, I think, today, because tattoos are just more prevalent in the modern world today. And I feel like Mormons are always kind of like adapting to like the world, which in a way is an indicator to me like it's not true. We don't have to get into that, but there it is. But there's a lot of heavy metals in tattoos, and that's like constantly just affecting like all kinds of things, including like your wavelengths of your brain and your other parts of your health. And I'm not like, I think you have tattoos, don't you, Steve? So yeah, so got to get them out. I don't even know if you can get them out. Like you can get them like so they aren't there, but I think the ink residue stuff, it's not like it's getting extracted. But I asked this buddy of mine about this kind of stuff because he's got tattoos, but he later learned like, oh shoot, I should have done that. There's things you can do to like detoxify some of the metals that are in there. And I asked him like, well, what about those Polynesian ones? The ones that they used to like, you see like the old school style, they tap and it's just like blackened ash from a fire thing that they're putting in you. He's like, those are actually fine. I was like, yo, so if I ever did get a tattoo, that's the way. I always actually had already said that. Like, I'm not going to use these like chicken shiz little like guns. I'm going to do the tapping method. I'm going to make someone find me. I'm going to find someone that does that for me. I want the tapping method done. There's just something to it. Like, I think Uncle Tinny would get like a kick out of it.
Tattoos are not that bad. They're not. They're just, but there are spots of your body when they do it. It's worse than with some spots than others.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's one of those things where you can get a tattoo in one spot and you're like, it's nothing, and then you get a tattoo in a different spot that's a little more sensitive, and you're like, oh, that did feel. You can feel that.
This is gonna suck. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really like about it, like personally, and it's not. I've seen some. I'll go up to people and I'll be like, "That is really cool. Like that's super cool." I'll do that all the time. Actually, like I like to just be nice to people.
For me,
I'm doing this thing here lately. Like I'm gonna encourage your listeners and maybe even you. Go out of your way to give some stranger a compliment. Do it once a day, just once. Do it in the earlier part of the day, like before lunch. It's gonna be amazing. Your whole life's gonna change. I've been doing it for a little while now. I'm not 100%. And especially like I'm not 100% doing it before lunch, but I swear it's like better than like 5 beautiful healthy cups of coffee that just would give you all that energy. It's like a cold plunge, man. It just sets me on fire for like hours. Like I'm just set for the day after like, because it always leads to like a little interaction. Like tell me about it. Tell me about your shirt or whatever I'm complimenting, if you don't mind. Like, you catch them if they have a few minutes. You end up talking like, oh, hey, well, thanks for chatting. Have a good day. And you know, it's over.
So I don't know if it's just me who's noticed this, but like, this is the most anti-social generation or like time of my entire life. Not like me personally, because I'm a yapper, but like everybody around is so weird. Like I went to the grocery store the other day and there was a worker by the produce and she was like stocking stuff and I was just like right by her. So I said, hi, and like smiled at her and she just looked at me like almost repulsed that I said hello to her. And I'm just like, okay. Or like people will walk past you and like be so afraid to look at you. And I think that's so weird. It makes me so uncomfortable. Like, first of all, are you not like aware of your surroundings? Because I stare at anybody who walks past me. I don't care if you're a man, a female, whatever you are, but I'm going to look at you and I will stare into your soul because first of all, I'm just very aware of my surroundings and I like to know the people that are around me. But like, I don't know, like people just are just even afraid to like look in your direction. And that is just so mind-boggling to me. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just like the phone thing and social media that everybody's so comfortable with just like being whoever they are online. They don't even know who they are in person. So they just act like a robot and just stay silent. But it's weird.
Hey, y'all.
It's really good for you. I think it's good for us. I think that's the kind of stuff, like that's what's going to win you to Jesus. That's what's going to win you friends. And I did that with this friend of mine that he's like changing my life. I love this. I'm going to see if I can get him on your podcast, honestly. So it's my kid's jujitsu coach. I'm going to start jujitsu with him in his adults class coming in next month. And I am so stoked. Like, I don't know squat about jujitsu. I am not excited to be like rolling on the ground with sweaty dudes. Like, I don't like being touched. I especially like
You'll
have a
love it
good
after
sense
you
of
get
smell
doing.
for a guy. What's that?
You'll love it once you get going on it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure I will.
Once you start getting like you're not
I'm already excited.
The new guy anymore, and you're not getting your butt kicked all the time, and then you start actually doing some things. That's when you start to be like you have a little bit of pride in it, and you start to like. Then there'll be a new guy, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Because once you get like trained in it, and you get hard. Exactly. But what's like anything else in life, like once you do something over and over again, your body becomes used to it. It's a game changer because you'll start getting those interactions where you're practicing with things, and like I didn't get in a lot of physical fights like out on the streets. I did a lot of training as a Marine, but when I get around my friends and we just start playing around, like not fighting, but just wrestling and stuff, I would start balling my friends up like they would have no way to stop me. I was like a wrecking ball, and like because they're just not used to it. Guys that probably could have beat my butt up earlier when I was younger, but like after that training, you're like. It's like anything on life. Like it's like being with God. Like if you know His word and you know what you're doing, it becomes fierce. But if you don't do it all the time and you're kind of weak in it, you're not gonna have the strength that you should have.
Well, and I'm excited too. Just like there's a whole a culture and a community behind it. But I'm also excited with him because like with the holistic medicine side, he's trying to introduce with it too. Like he went to Wyoming for a retreat that the host like invited him to like do a clinic at because he's a world renowned dude, my friend. So he went down there to do this clinic. This guy asked him to do, hired him to do, and he did like a 5-hour thing. But the first hour was like bulletproofing the body parts, like exercises. And he's like, "Remember these? Can you do them like? I think you only need to do them like once a week." And you don't have to do like the whole body. He went through the whole body with them so he could show them. Because you have to, there's a lot of motion head down. So he went through the whole thing, but he's like rotated, like do the neck and shoulders one day, do your like legs one day, do your like arms and wrists or whatever, like another day, do your back bulletproofing exercises. And it just like strengthens those like muscles that you don't work out at the gym. Like just all those stabilizers and support muscles. And so anyways, he did that with these dudes, and then like they rolled for hours and hours and hours afterwards, and they called him the next day and were like, dude, like, yeah, we're super tired and stuff and had so much fun, but like we're more tired from that first hour of just like the working out stuff you put us through than we were of like 4 hours later of just straight jujitsu rolling. Like it's really cool to hear that from him, because like that's what I'm excited for. Like I'm hitting 40 this month. I know for a fact, like I am not the Wolverine self quick healing kind of guy I used to be in my teens. Like I would fall out of a tree at like youth group. I fell out of a tree and hit every branch on the way. I didn't know which way was up, and then I landed flat on my spine and I couldn't move for like 3 minutes. I was like in spinal shock. I couldn't breathe for like a minute. The wind was so knocked out of me. And I was so scared. Like I was like, I'm paralyzed. I can't breathe. I'm going to die. I was so scared. And like I eventually started breathing, and eventually like the spinal shock, whatever, like went away and I was able to move, and I was just a little stiff. But man, like I am not like that. Like I would not want to go through that now. Like I'd be pretty messed up.
Dude, I'm with you. Like it's like one of those things where I used to go like lift the heaviest thing possible, not think twice about it. And now I look at something that's like it says team lift on it, and I used to be able to like I don't need someone else, just pick it up and go. And now I'm kind of like I'm just gonna wait for somebody else. That's gonna be fine with me this time.
And that's where it's like I want to be able to do those participation things, but I don't go like full gas on anything anymore. Like I've done that even recently and retweaked something or like tweak something new, and I'm like, man, like you just recover slower. And there's things I've learned from my friend that like help me recover quicker. But I'm also learning like just like you just got to slow down a little too, because it's not like an age thing. It's like I don't know. It's like who are you trying to impress, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's just I don't know. This whole podcast has been a little bit different for me and you because we were gonna watch videos like we normally do, and our internet connection is like the best it's been the entire night right now. And I was the last video I had, I was gonna ask you some questions about Antifa had some people get arrested for going after ICE last year in July. And I think today when they got sentenced, and they got sentenced to quite a few years in prison.
Several suspects are now in custody after a Texas police officer was shot in the neck while responding to a call outside of an ICE facility. So it happened in Alvarado, which is near Fort Worth. This was over the holiday weekend, and Jonathan Hunt is following this story for us. Hi, Jonathan.
Good morning, Dana. This all played out in the late evening of July 4th outside the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado. Police officers responded to a call about a suspicious person outside the center. When they arrived, they saw someone who appeared to have a gun. One of the Alvarado officers tried to talk to that person, and at that point, several other people opened fire on the officer, who was hit in the neck. He was treated at a local hospital and has since been released. Officers arrested a number of people at the scene. A motive for the attack is still being investigated, but the Department of Homeland Security said a group of more than a dozen people had slashed tires of federal vehicles and damaged security cameras at the ICE facility. There was also another attack on an ICE facility in Portland, Oregon, Friday night, a facility that has been the site of an ongoing protest for several weeks. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche wrote on X Saturday morning, quote, "We are closely monitoring the attacks on DHS detention facilities in Prairieland, Texas and Portland, Oregon, and are coordinating with the USAOs and our law enforcement partners. The department has zero tolerance for assaults on federal officers or property and will bring the full weight of the law against those responsible." Now, both attacks, Dana, happened on the day President Trump signed his domestic policy bill into law, a bill, of course, that includes some $45 billion to expand the capacity of immigration detention centers and $31 billion for ICE operations.
Prison, Dana? And they got charged as terrorists. I kind of wanted to get your opinion on that, because I think that was worth. I didn't see it anywhere else in the news besides X, and so I don't watch the regular news, but I assume that's something that they're not talking about. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. Well, so you just got to know who controls the media, first of all, as far as like the discussion with regards to like why we're not hearing about it, or why we are not seeing whatever topic. In this case, Antifa being charged as terrorists. Who controls the media is why we are not seeing things. So there's that. But for them specific to be charged as terrorists, I'm not sure how I feel, like, if I agree or not. Like, I believe there was like some homicides in that, like, what was that, Seattle? They took over like a certain number of blocks in downtown Seattle for like several days or weeks even. You remember that?
I don't, but I'm not surprised.
There was like, yeah, they
You
like
ever see?
literally like took over several square blocks of downtown Seattle in protest, and it was kind of funny. They just brought in like bags of soil, like potting soil, dumped it on the blacktop all over, and made like a makeshift garden.
Have you seen
And
any
like
of
they
this?
were gonna like,
Have you seen any of the stuff that's happened in Minnesota where George Floyd died, and they created like a monument to him? But like that city, I don't know how it is today.
Sunday will mark 5 years since a police officer murdered George Floyd in Minneapolis. The intersection where it happened has changed and evolved over the years. WCCO's David Schumann asked people who live and work there, what is George Floyd Square like now?
Kia Brown cuts hair a few storefronts down from where George Floyd was murdered. She wasn't sure her business would last.
I can't work here. Oh my God, this is right at the George Floyd Square. Like, people are really not going to come here.
Ruth Humphrey didn't come after the murder, even though she worked on this block for decades.
I haven't been down here in God.
She expected more to have changed in the last 5 years.
There used to be some restaurants right there on that side of the street. They still are? Is the barbecue place still there? Oh, is the turkey place still there? Oh, okay.
Mill City Auto Body has been here 23 years. But the owner, Dan, says he's struggling badly.
Business is slow. People are scared to come over here. I have 4 kids in college. I have to keep surviving.
Dan carries a gun for protection since he was assaulted in 2020. We spoke to more than one nearby neighbor who said they feel safe living here.
Everything's now is getting much better.
I feel even more comfortable now that we have the two police that are on foot.
Jerome Richardson, a youth activist, says as time has passed, the emotions associated with this space have evolved, specifically to include joy and celebration.
We've been such in a state of grief, and grief takes time, but I think one of the things that makes Black people most resilient is when we turn our pain into power.
Kia and Dan aren't too interested in the memorial or what the square symbolizes. For them, power means being able to come to work here every day to earn a living. In Minneapolis, David Schumann, WCCO News.
But this was like 4 years ago. Literally, the police stopped going there. There was homicides. There's people dead there. It was just like a lawless part of our country. Like, it's just these zones of people who want to live that way. And I don't want to I'm gonna say it's all liberals. It's just people are built differently today. Like people are letting people just go do their thing. Where back in the day, I feel like adults would have stepped in and said, "This is not. We just can't allow this."
well, it's funny because like when conservatives do it, the federal government really seems to want to get involved. I mean, look at Waco or Ruby Ridge. Like Ruby Ridge wasn't even a compound; that was just a single family. And like, Waco was like a religious sect, but they seemed to lean more conservatively, like with their values, and then they were all about like they had weapons and stuff apparently, at least some weapons. So like I don't know. I am seeing some like Antifa people getting firearms now. Now that doesn't mean that they are going to know how to use them, but that doesn't mean like conservative pro-Trumpers or whoever know how to use theirs either. I just think they might know more, but I don't really know. I don't take.
If you don't get to the roots of why these Antifa people are protesting and the people putting money in their pockets to do these things, like I don't think you're really going to get to like them getting charged to me is a big deal, but I want to hear they're going to start going after the people who are funding these things and the things behind. Like everything has something behind it.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, and like the organizers, like don't go after the peons, dude. Like, yeah, they might have done something. Like, yeah, he smashed a window or whatever. But like, honestly, too, like, we already like branded cartels as terrorist groups, but their cartels operate heavily in our own country. They just use the name gang. But if they're correlated to cartels of like Latin America or wherever, how come they're not getting the same branding? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah, but I don't even think that our gangs and stuff are necessarily out of country or this Antifa. I think we have problems with our country's government. I think that like even just it was
For
just
sure.
released that the CIA was involved in all the things in January 6th, where there was like X amount of agents
Yeah.
there, and they were helping break in and leading everybody, and like it just gets brushed across, and no one ever like it. That was such a huge day to me as an American, because I remember just that was kind of one of the days I think, if I was to say days that broke me, my spirit a little bit, was watching that and going like,
Yeah.
I know this isn't what the news is portraying this as. I know it's not. There's no way, because I was watching it and going like,
And it's shocking.
okay, if I was going to be there and try and cause change, I would have a rifle over my shoulder. I wouldn't say I'm pointing at anybody. I'm not saying I'm using it, but I would be in malicious style saying we're allowed to do this, and I would be there saying like I want to enforce something. And I know weapons aren't the answer to everything, but if you show up and it's a bunch of people organized and they all look professional and they're carrying themselves professionally, it sends a message. These people were all walking there with Trump flags and looking like WWE stars, and like just they look silly in a way.
Yeah.
Like they were just overly patriotic. And it just was a narrative that's being exposed. The way you talked about January 6th. And I look at things now and I'm like, when's the truth coming out?
Well, it's funny too. Like I'll see Democrats talking like something about Trump and like, yeah, even look at what he did with J6 and stuff. And I'm like, are you really only looking at like that side? To me, like I try to see both because in my feeds, because then I can see, because like there was so much with the videos of J6 that showed like it wasn't that what certain sides were trying to play it up as, but then other sides like it looked atrocious. And it's like they're both just painting a picture, but somewhere in the middle is going to be the truth inevitably, but it might lean somewhere closer to one than the other. I'm not saying it's in the center by any means. I'm not saying that. And I don't know much beyond like J6. I remember when it happened, I was definitely like in the like conservative Republican, I'll say, camp. And like there was videos like the conservative sides were playing that like showed it like it was weird. Like there was some stage acting by some of the security guards that looked just weird, and like others, like one guy flashed a badge to like a glass wall and they opened the door for him, and then the protesters followed him in or something. And I was like, yeah, that's like, and then they just set him up. So at least that's what I thought I saw.
Yeah, the hard part when we talk about these, when I told you I feel sorry for people who are liberal right now because they're scared, I really do feel bad for them. But I also like, they won't listen to, like if you try to go into these details that we're talking about, they won't listen to anything because, at least from my viewpoint, like they have certain political standpoints that they stand on, and you can't get around it. Like if it's like
I don't
rights for women, or if it's gay rights, or whatever that the left has attached himself and the right has attached himself to, people are saying this is my hill to die on, and so they won't move around. I don't care about that part. I don't care about this part. This is the only part I care about. And so when you start to like expose these things as like talking points where they said I own you because of January 6th, like look at you guys are insurrectionists, and you're like, it was complete a farce, like. And they'll be like, well, I don't care because of Trump said this, Trump did, and it's like this like shouting match. You're like, dude, what is going on here? Like, when are we gonna have like even the Epstein files? Like, we're still waiting for the truth on that. Like, when is that gonna happen? Like, it's just all this stuff is just you can't control any of it, and you can't.
I think if enough of us started waking up, I think there would be a real J6, like a real mother trucking J6, but. We're too stupid. Like that's why I don't feel bad for those people. I don't feel bad for the conservatives either that get in fear. I think this next presidential election is going to swing blue pretty hard. I honestly think the midterms are going to swing blue decently. I think there's enough conservatives that are just be like, yeah, well, I'll vote blue because at least they openly talk about policies that will destroy the country and make it worse. The Republicans have like said, like MAGA, the whole thing with MAGA was we're going to, shrink the federal government. We're going to, no new wars. We're going to cut spending. We're going to fix the budget. We're gonna all these things, and we got jack squat, man. We haven't gotten any of those things. We didn't get Doge checks. We didn't even get the tariffs. Now we're refunding those companies out of our tax money. Like, we're just getting hosed left and right, dude. So like conservatives that are smart enough to see that have left the MAGA camp, they're done, dude. They're like, I will vote Democrat just so that the Republicans lose. That is how convinced they are that this two-party system doesn't work. Because they know at least the Democrats are going to open the border and flood it and make more problems. Because at least they do what they say. Does that make sense? To a
No,
degree.
I don't.
What I don't understand, though, well, one thing I don't understand with the Democrats or blue or whatever is like they're all like pro-Palestine, but like, dude, you're still voting for like all your candidates are APAC funded, bro. Like that should be like a wake up call right there. We need to stop looking at it red and blue, dude. Like we need to start seeing it like who is really going to try to help us as Americans. And we have money going to foreign countries. Like that just needs to stop. Like I don't care if it's Ukraine. I don't care if it's war with Iran or financial aid to like Ukraine or Israel or whoever else. Like we just need to stop. They're using us as like what do you call it? We're just like the piggy bank of the world right now, and it's me and you who are paying for it. And I think we're starting to really like feel it. And they've created this thing that it's gotten exponentially so large. There's no going back, I don't think. And there's no slowing it down. And that's why I think we're seeing it. All this stuff we talked about last time, like, was it the Trump election or was it the Harambe gorilla, like, getting killed? Was that like the glitch in the timeline? I think it just happened to be around that section that all these things from like Hamilton, the founding father, Hamilton was like propagated and pushed to do the central banking like well over 200 years ago. They pushed him to do like central banking. And then Netflix comes out with this special like touting Hamilton as like this ultra hyper American patriot, but he was all about like big federal governments. He was an idiot in certain ways. Like anybody that wants big federal government's a bad person, I think, because all that's going to do is restrict your rights, take your tax money, make you pay more different new taxes, and it's going to ruin your life. And that's what we've had. Like the central banking system didn't go in his era. Andrew Jackson in 1820s, I want to say. I think we had it central banking maybe at some point, and then maybe he got it undone, and it was like another 50 years. I think they were pushing it again, like around like Lincoln's time or right after Lincoln and the Civil War, and it didn't go through. And they finally got it like 1914 or 13 or whatever, right around World War One, and we've had it since. And they just print money, and it's worth less and less, and we work harder and harder, and corporations and the government just siphon it from us just to send it off to themselves or foreign interests of friends of theirs in other countries. Like it's sad. Like the state of America is really sad politically. And that's why I just don't care anymore. Like I pay attention. I find people that I vote for. Like for president or like senators, like we just did our primaries for the senators, and I left a lot of stuff blank. Like there was a lot blank. Yeah, I don't vote for any of my state senators that go to like Congress, like federal Congress, I should say, or federal congressional delegates from Idaho, I should say. I don't vote for them because they're all like taking foreign interest monies, so I don't care about them. So I don't vote for them. But I do like my county elections. I do my localized elections for my city. That's what I do. I'm on city council. I'm the mayor of my small town. I don't get paid. I'll never get paid. I'll never take a penny. I lose money in time because I give some of my money. I don't try to I'll buy something on my dime that is for the city, like something we need, and I'll just do it. Like it's little things. I'm not trying to tout myself, but like honestly, like I wanted to not be mayor this term, but no one ran, and I thought, well, when Charlie Kirk got killed, I thought like I'm not like under threat of being killed, so I guess I could do another term, and so the council like opted to like keep me on since I changed my mind, but it was too late for me to put myself on the ballot. I said, look, if anyone goes on the ballot, they're going to win unopposed, and that's great. Then I don't have to do it. But if no one does, then I'll do another term. No one wanted to do it, so I did another term. But like, I'm not trying to tout myself out to be like anything that I'm not. But let's talk about like, was it ancient Greece? They would elect a person in times of like military emergency, and there was this one guy. He was a farmer. They elected him. And most of these guys, they were given like a 1 year term, and they used to milk it for that whole year. Like they would finish the campaign, but then like they'd still have time on that term, that 1 year term left, and they would use it to do things maybe selfishly.
Yeah.
There was one dude, he was a farmer, and he like relinquished like the day of like the treaty signing for the military campaign, the uprising issue. He helped lead them. They won it. And he just went back to farming like day one. He's like, yo, I'm out. And I think his name was Cincinnatus. I'm almost sure his name was Cincinnatus. I'll look it up. I'm almost sure it's him though. And that is who the kind of people we need. You know, it's one thing like if people donate their like for Trump to donate like his salary, like that doesn't mean anything to me because there's like insider trading happening galore. Not just him, but like everyone in Congress too. There's all kinds of gigs that his friends are getting for the construction jobs that he's going to have done for the White House and other projects. Like he is getting himself patted on the back. Like it's
You're just
silly.
speaking out of like regular knowledge.
We need like
I'm asking you a question though. You're just speaking out of like knowledge that you've obtained, not because on your level of what you do, it's such a different job than like being a representative or being like a senator or like because like I listened to Eli Crane. He's from Arizona, and he basically broke down what it's like to go and try and serve in the House of Representatives because he's like I had every intention of going and making changes, and he's like you get there and you're literally told to turn around and go make money for everybody else and get ready for the midterms. He's like, that's all they're telling you to go do. So if you come in there with the intentions of like, I'm going to make some changes, literally you're going to nothing's going to happen. He said, basically you're wasting your time. And so like, I'm not going to spend time in Washington DC. I'm going to go back to where I represent people at and go serve. And he said, that's what I'd go do. And then you come back when you have all these changes you want to make because you're trying to serve your people. And they kind of just tell you like, good luck with that. And you're on your own. And if you want to play the game, you got to go make money. And the more money you make, the more you get to be part of committees that maybe, he said, maybe when you get to that level, maybe you can make some changes. He said, you can, but it's so few and far between. Because every time you want to do something that's going to help your people, there's something that gets logged in there that's going to go against everything that you stand for. And so if you want to make that change, you have to go against something you stand for. And then when you start seeing how messed up it is, if you can make money on the side because you're learning so much, he's like, what else are you going to do? He's like, so it's just, it sounds like just a really broken system. As much as we tout our government as being this really great system that like, it should have been, it could be, but we're not being holding people accountable as people, like the country itself. We should be holding these people accountable and saying, hey, I don't know if this would get us thrown off of YouTube for saying this stuff, but like there should be an uprising like you described in January 6th, but not a violent protest. I'm saying like we should be banding together and being like, we want this all to end. Like this needs to be all new people in a whole new system, like not system, but like just new representatives taking over the entire thing and have them not run a two-party system.
Washington even warned us about the two-party system. It only lasted till after his 2 terms, and immediately there was like federalists and anti-federalists. The founding fathers, like
the vice president became the person that ran against each other. The other person would be the vice president. So you have alternate people going, and then Thomas Jefferson got rid of that.
That's beautiful. Right. That's beautiful because it's like you have to like work with someone that you hate because you ran against different policies. I think they should do that again. Like Kamala Harris, I suppose, or was it Kamala Harris that ran against Trump this last one? She'd be the VP.
Yeah, I mean,
Be pretty wild.
I don't want to say anything
Be
bad
pretty
about
wild,
this,
man.
but that would not. I don't know.
But look at it though. They're all on the same team anyway. Like they really are. It's all just a show. They're all making money. You know, they don't actually do
That's
anything for politics.
that's
For
your
show.
strong opinion, though, or you know that for a fact? Because I don't know. I really have different feelings about Trump in some ways. I do think he's up against it, and I think he's playing more poker than he did in the past, where he came in the first time and he just got blindsided left and right, and he didn't know what he was doing, so they just kind of made him look like a buffoon. Where I feel like we're still got a little bit of time left with him, and I'm not ready to say I don't think he'll do some more things. I think he's still going to have some more to do. I just think he's understanding he has to take his time with this. And I mean, he just got the FBI director. He's getting arrested. And so, you know, there's certain things that are falling in place. It's just nothing's happening the way you want it to. And that's the government in a nutshell. Nothing operates the way the timetable
I don't
you
know.
think as a normal person think.
Honestly, though, think about this. If he can order an op to like take care of some guy we have no legal jurisdiction to take care of, why wouldn't he do that to get rid of any of these opponents that are bothering him? Like, think about that. He has the power to like literally unseat a president of a foreign country we have like no relationship with. Like, we have no relationship with them.
The Venezuela, is that what you're
He just
talking?
unseated that dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
And then, okay, why not just go totalitarian locally then? You got people that are slowing you down from the supposed goals that you're wanting to do. Then take care of business. Go take them out. Label them terrorists and get them locked up in Guantanamo for a little while. Just get them out of the way. Don't hurt them. Just arrest them overnight. Take them peacefully, quickly. Send them to Guantanamo under trumped up bullshit charges for 6 months. Blitz through, bulldoze through all the policies you want done. Get it locked in a place. Get it moving. Then let them out. Just be like, hey, sorry about that. You know, got the wrong guy. I mean, it's that simple. Like, it really is. He's compromised, dude. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. They're all on the same team. They just play back and forth. When one party's played out, the next party comes in and plays it and, you know, pretends to undo some of this stuff. All the while, nothing happens that helps us. We're going to continue seeing increased costs of living in every facet of life, from construction materials to cars and car parts, homes in general, food. The food's going to continue to get more poisonous. Like, the Make America Healthy Again, that fell flat on its face as soon as he like executive signed or whatever he did with all these glyphosate things. Like, they don't care about us at all, dude. Neither party cares about us. They're all flops. That's my 2 cents.
I'm not here to argue that completely.
I see it.
I'm
I just see it. Like, that's how I see it. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't think he's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how bad of a person or good of a person he is, but I don't think he's helping us. I'm convinced of that. Like, I'm
I
absolutely
don't count
convinced
him
he's
as
not
the
looking out
hero
for
that
us.
other people put him out to be. You know, like I don't think he's.
No,
the
I
hero.
don't think you. No, I don't think you do. I don't even like think I see you as like a MAGA person or anything like that. I appreciate you're trying to give him benefit of the doubt. Soon as the backpedaling on the Epstein stuff, I was out, dude. I was so out with him. I was like, dude, you've already dodged the Doge stuff. Like, you already like, and the Doge stuff like was trying to like get rid of federal workers too, because like we just have too much financial burden there. These people have these jobs and they make insane amounts of money. And I'm not saying their jobs aren't necessary or whatever. Okay, think about this. Do you still get 2-day shipping with your Amazon Prime?
Sometimes, most of the time, not.
Most of the time, not. Do you know why?
Because of no, tell me.
Who switched? Which, you know, they switched shippers. Who was shipping 2-day shipping much more successfully before USPS greased the wheels to get the deal for Amazon? It was UPS, private sector. They were doing it and doing it successfully, and I was getting my stuff And I know because I live in the frickin' country, I need my stuff fast. Because when I need it, like I'm not gonna go to Boise to get it. And I got stuff. I got a few things overnight from the warehouse. I have not gotten anything overnight in like a year and a half or two now since USPS took over. Trust me, like government sucks at everything they do. They do not care, and they get paid better than UPS drivers, and they suck at it harder. So it's like that to me, like they fleeced whatever person they needed to at federal level. Like, hey, push Jeff Bezos and Amazon, like take USPS back, and they suck, dude. They're terrible. I only use them for like very minimal stuff anymore. I don't hate people that work there. I get you have to have a job, but that's what people like will watch this. If my local postal people saw this, they'd hate me. They'd treat me like crap because they think I'm talking about them. They work hard here. They're smart people. They're so sweet, and I love them, and I want them to get paid well. I want them to have a good job. I'm not talking about them. But the logistics and shipping and planes and stuff, somewhere higher up and further back, like that's where the problem is. And that's why this stuff doesn't work. It's none of this is working. And that's why I just don't care. I
think
really
what you just
just don't
described
like
was everything, though. Like, we're seeing everything being
Yeah,
stripped
that's
from
what I'm
like the
saying.
smaller people and like the small mom and pop places, and even like when you just mentioned about gardening and like how you got like the grass growing and like literally like it's just
Yeah.
I don't think anyone understands like even like with the vegetables you had talk about growing. If you had to live off of it, you'd be in a huge trouble. Don't you think?
Yeah,
If you had to
I'm
like
not gonna have
maintain like
nearly
a
enough.
family of right. People don't
Yeah.
realize how many groceries
No,
it
I'm,
actually takes to like live off of, like to like create a farm to live off of. It's such a bigger process than what. Anyway, we all take it for granted.
yeah, scary story too with survival stuff. Like we used to come up to this area and we would wait 20 minutes on the main roads, for like a multi-hundred head herd of elk to cross it. Dude, I don't see groups of elk more than like 50 anymore crossing our roads. Like maybe 50. They overpopulated the wolf population. First, they brought in the wrong wolves. This is my state, either fish and game or whatever, doing that, like forest rangers, forestry guys. They brought in the northern Canadian like timber wolf from up above us in Alberta. So these are like larger animals. They're better hunters because of it, and they hunt for sometimes they hunt for sport. And they brought them down here. Now we are like 4 times the wolf population that Idaho is supposed to have, and so they're decimating the elk population. Well, a whole elk will feed quite a bit of people,
100%.
or feed you for a long time if you can keep the meat, frozen or healthy or whatever, like from going bad. And they're not giving lots of permits out anymore either. Like we don't have the elk. Well, yeah, dumb because you know, and elk. The wolves are hard to hunt. They got lots of easy permits to get. They're hard to kill. They're not stupid, man. They're going hiding, and they're hard to find and hard to get. I know guys that get I know a guy that's got like probably 2 or 3 dozen in his years of being up here, and even that's like phenomenal. But it's not enough. And I'm not saying this guy. I love wolves. I think they're cool and they definitely have a purpose. It's just like sharks in the ocean. It's like, dude, getting a shark and like skinning its like fins off just for soup and tossing it in the oceans, like that sucks. That's trash. I'm not
I'm gonna
against
go
you
off
if you're
the
gonna
deep
eat
end
it,
a
but
little bit here, but like
eat
I
the
want to
majority of it.
yeah, I want to go off the deep end a little bit with you, like on one of these episodes where we have videos available and stuff, because like I have dove into like Nephilim and not Wolfman, but like men like Nephilim that are like the size of wolves, and like they're like half man, half wolf, so werewolves. But they're saying there's Nephilim like that, like Bigfoot. You live up in the middle of a forest. Have you seen anything crazy in the forest that you're like something doesn't look natural?
Yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah, there are these things that come out of like down south. They're called tweakers. They come up and they think it's like the wild. No, what you're talking about, no.
You have not seen anything like that?
But no. We
Well, it
just
just made
get
me
people
think of
that
it because
come
you're
up
talking about
thinking it's
wolves
like
and
a
like.
lawless area.
Well, you think
No.
about like even just north of you in Canada, right? There's so much uninhabited land up there. That like
Idaho
you know,
has the most like federal whatever reserve land other than Alaska. I mean, Alaska is like you're not competing with that, but I think our land there's a lot more like animals in our littler section than all of Alaska. I would guess. I would think. I mean, parts of that rural stuff in Alaska is just freaking ice. I would imagine, or at least that a big chunk up north. You know, where you have like polar bears, maybe caribou, and like 5 to 10 other like animals from like a big cat to like a few birds and maybe a bug, right? Like Idaho's got a plethora of things. Like we get cold winters, but we're not that bad. So we have amphibians of all kinds. We have reptiles of all kinds still. We have mammals of all kinds, shapes, and sizes, and birds out the wazoo. Like we have a plethora of stuff. And the Frank Church Wilderness is like our back doorstep here. So I need to get out there more with my
you've never
kids as
seen
they get
anything
bigger
crazy.
here. I want to get out.
You
No,
can't do
dude,
a
I used to
big
romp
Bigfoot
around all
sighting.
this stuff my whole life. I mean, the craziest stuff we saw was just crazy people that like live in RVs and travel from campsite to campsite. And they don't like see regular civilization very often. You can tell because they're just different. Like the way they talk and interact. It's just like what used to imagine a homeschool kid back in the day would sound like, the kid that was under socialized.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, oh, that kid's homeschooled. Oh, you kind of tell. Like those kind of people. Like that's all I ever saw that was strange, were these like just super rural people that like didn't belong anywhere. They were nice, you know, they were never like mean or nothing, but like it was just different. Like it was just, I've never met someone like that. You know, I have a house. I grew up in a neighborhood with all these other people that owned
Right.
houses, and we would play together in the street and go to each other's house to get each other to go play. That's just like the American average thing. It's like someone that's just like, screw the system. I'm off grid. I'm living for myself. I'm not going to have a mortgage. I'm not going to own land. I'm just going to make a go of it on my own. Like that's kind of admirable now, in my opinion.
Like, I lived in a
Maybe
much
that'll be me
ruler,
soon.
I lived in Idaho for a while, and like I lived in a much ruler area of it, more north than Kamiah, and like I used to go play in the forest all the time,
Yeah,
and I would never think twice
I love
about
it.
it. Like I wouldn't think about bears or like wolves. Wouldn't even think about it. I don't know. I mean, there wasn't even like I was
No.
never warned about it.
Well, they're like around, but like they're not like sharks too. Like if you swim in the ocean, like they're not like hyper predatory of humans necessarily. Like I think polar bears are, and like saltwater crocodiles will actually like eat humans. But like, you know, we have some grizzlies here, but like even them, like I don't think they actually predate on humans necessarily. So it's like, and you do need to know they're out there. You probably need to like, especially as a kid, be a little aware. I'd be more scared of like rattlesnakes, to be honest, where we are. They're
They're not good.
small.
They're not.
And there's like no
Scorpions.
defense against them.
Scorpions are the
Yeah,
worst.
there's
I'm
like no
honest with you.
defense against it either.
Right.
They're small and they hide, and you can like get pricked by one like without even notice. Like it's just so little.
Thanks for everyone who's been watching, and I know this has been different for us today. We're just gonna try something new, and just me and Trevor talked, and we're figuring it out. Josh is moving right now, so we're figuring things out, and just we haven't done a podcast in a while. We just wanted to check it out and say hi to you guys, and love you guys. You say bye.
Thanks for chiming in, everybody. Also, just like I know I'm crazy, and the end thing is like the world may look crazy, but like that doesn't matter. You're not of the world. You know, we are in the world, but that's not who we are. We are born again in Christ, and He has all the answers for all these problems. Don't worry. Don't live in fear. Never make decisions in fear. Jesus even says, "Fear not, only believe," and that's all you need. Peace out.
Bye, guys.